Today I'm celebrating Rat Catchers Day, as it is celebrated in Germany. And there might be a special irony to that, but yes, the story of the rat catcher is of course the story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. And so I was really delighted to find out that that's a festival which is still celebrated over there. Now, the Pied Piper of Hamelin, if you're not familiar with the story, is the story of a town, Hamelin, which is plagued by rats, and the very wealthy mayor and the aristocracy there are not really doing anything about it. The people are appalled, and it's starting to get a bit hot for the mayor. It's like some action needs to be taken, and so he finally puts out a message with a reward for anyone who can solve this rat problem, and all of the greatest minds are scratching their heads thinking about how they can solve this particular issue. There's no ideas coming forward that are working. But eventually a very enigmatic man turns up and says that I can solve this problem for you and I wish to claim the reward, which was a lot of gold. So he takes out his pipe, his flute, starts to play music, and all of the rats follow him out of the town. He takes them down to the river and they all drown in the river. He comes back to claim his reward, and now the mayor has changed his mind and doesn't honour his word. And so the Pied Piper, in a fit of anger, although it's quite a cool anger as it's recounted in the story versions that I've seen, he takes out his flute and he then plays again, and now it's the children of Hamelin that follow him out of town and into a mountain where they disappear forever. So it's a really telling story about all sorts of things, like the best kinds of stories. It elicits themes of plagues of things that happen when people lose themselves to lives that are debauched, and where there's a lack of honour, and what happens if you don't honour your word. And there's also an interesting element that I've left out there about the one child that doesn't find his way out to the countryside with the Pied Piper because of being lame. Now, it's a story that, the image of someone playing a flute and everybody being hypnotised by that sound and then following this enigmatic figure, it's got a particular resonance about it for me when I think about it. Thinking about Hitler, which I know is a very painful memory for people of the German culture, because, here was a guy who was playing a tune and people went along with it. Now, it's far more complicated than that. There was some symbiosis that went on, and, but what's really interesting about that is that there are some very worrying themes going on in Germany at the moment. And it seems to be something about the culture there where the connection between people, the social connection between people, makes them prey to suddenly going along with a particular idea and being kind of almost hypnotized by something. And, I'm not trying to say that's just German people at all. During the period of the lockdowns, I experienced a lot of freedom in the UK, and I was really surprised when I encountered what had happened in Spain, and how, because of the way Spain is so social and, where the family and the church have such an importance, that the level of enforcement and impingement on people's civil liberties over there was just incredible. Like, it was so much more severe than what I experienced in the UK. So there's real beauty in how communities can come together, and yet there's also real dangers when a society is so cohesive that it can be led by a merry tune. So I think it's a really valuable festival to celebrate and to think about, and it's a story that merits being told every year. So today I am celebrating Rat Catchers Day.